Welcome to this week's episode of Riftwalkers. We're happy to have you here. If you have time, go check out our website, Flash Fantasy Podcast. Also, go check out our Discord. That's all. This is Riftwalkers.
After securing their way inside Mainstay, and entreating themselves so far as to gain an audience with a local lord, the party finds themselves in one of the upper-class neighborhoods of the city in the afternoon, a comfortable amount of time before their appointment with the Lord Dakas.
Still petting his vulture, Vamok approaches Val and says,
Lord Valentine, might I suggest that you are perhaps a little too casual in your dealings with fellow nobility? Perhaps at the dinner tonight, you could be a bit more formal.
Thank you for your advice as my advisor, Vamok. I will take it.
Now, I will say, as your other, and Cad does do air quotes, advisor. This Lord Dakas seemed himself one who adhered to these standards and rules simply because he was in the presence of those who would hold him accountable. I feel he is more on our playing field, so to say.
Well, perhaps we should test the waters a bit once we're in his home and see which mode of behavior would be best suited to getting on his good side.
Agreed.
And what he was saying about keeping a list of who's who in the high-up world could prove useful. You could share some contacts that we could maybe strive to reach out to get a better audience with someone who could lead us to the king.
Most certainly. I think it may, hopefully, it won't take too long, but it might take some time before we're able to get high enough to gain an audience there.
Well, if anything, I think this lord could bring up some sort of letter of introduction to, if he is as well connected as he purports.
Perhaps we can test him then, see if he is.
Well, I won't be of any use there. I don't know anything about this sort of thing. If anything, it might be best for me to stay behind. Suffice to say, I think I'd give away my roots quite quickly when pressed on it.
In the sense that you would give away your identity, or in the sense that you would... I mean, you are acting as my ward, are you not?
I don't know what I'm acting as. I couldn't tell you what ward means.
You would just be someone under the care of my estate. You could have come to that position in any fashion, from anywhere.
I suppose. But if they lay out more than one fork, I won't know what to do with it.
I can help you with the forks, that's not a problem.
Luna nods, calmed a bit, but still very outwardly nervous looking, and takes a step back.
Anyone else worried about cutlery?
No, as long as I get to bring mine, Relander says, patting the handle of his sword. I feel quite secure in going to visit him.
Well, we have an afternoon. Is there something we want to spend our time doing?
Well, I think first things first. We need some place to put your money. I don't think showing up to a dinner party with
Chest of
a chest.
Brinier says through gritted teeth as a bead of sweat runs down his eye.
Look, Dakas, I don't know you, and to be honest, I don't trust you, but I will tell you, I've got 60 bolts worth of money in this chest. Don't even think about taking it.
Is there an inn kind of off of this square anywhere?
There are dozens of them.
Okay. Do we want to get a room to sort of put this away in? Do we think that will be secure?
And this part of town should be secure enough.
All right. I was just gonna spin around in a circle and walk in a direction, whichever inn I ran into first.
Vakos, go. Find us an inn.
It travels 10 feet.
Yeah, flies 30 feet to the left. Found one!
Vakos flies off, comes back a minute later maybe, and kind of sits down, and it almost looks like the bird whispers something in Vamok's ear, and Vamok says,
There is an inn a few streets over. We can get there quickly. It does not look too expensive.
Well, it's just for the night, so...
Then, this way.
and Vamok begins leading the way to a pretty generic-looking, fancy inn.
With pleasure.
You work your way to this inn that Vamok indicates, called the Rose Pin. And moving inside, you seem to be the only ones there, at the parlor at least, in current time. But the innkeeper, or rather a host, comes and greets you near the door behind a small podium, looks through a ledger of sorts, and then up at you and says, "What will I have for you?"
Just a room for the night.
"Yes, my lords and masters. How many rooms will you be requiring?"
Just the one. They're not staying here.
"Aye. And it's just for a night, you say?"
Yeah.
"Of course, my lord. That'll be 5 pegs, please."
Val will kind of nod at Brynir to and toss him the key to the chest.
Yep, Brynir will just open that up. He sets it down and grabs the money out and hands it to Val.
Okay. I will then pay the good host.
"Right." And then he steps out of sight for a minute into a small side room and comes back with a key. Handing you the key, he points toward a set of stairs at the end of the parlor and says, "Right there, it'll be the 3rd door on the left."
Much appreciated.
He nods his head and steps out of the way.
Okay, we go put the stinking chest in the stinking room.
Brynir opens the chest again and distributes some funds to everybody.
Perhaps we go then, yes, with my original suggestion, and I'll carry the equivalent of 1 bolt.
So 8 rams?
Yes.
Right then. Well, probably shouldn't be making too much of a fuss about town, or at least drawing too much attention to ourselves. I, for one, am going to get a little closer look at that gate. Not too close, obviously. People... Were there guards at either side of this gate, or people barring entrance, or was it just a gate?
The big wrought iron gate at the end of the boulevard? There were some patrols that you noticed, but there weren't any, standing guards.
Gotcha. During this time, Rolander's going to invite Vamok to join him on a stroll through the square, intending to get a closer look at this gate that leads to the even higher levels of the city.
Vamok will join him.
If Luna would like a rundown / lesson on basic dinner etiquette, Val will offer that to her.
Luna will begrudgingly accept said lesson. After some futile attempts to convince Val to allow her to stay behind.
No, you come into the dinner party, girl.
I think Brynir is going to make use of the room and take a nap.
A solid choice.
Mick, not knowing everything about fancy dinner parties or whatever it may be, but knows it's pretty good to bring something as a gift to the hostess. So Mick is gonna go out and see if he can find some kind of trinket or something to offer. Yeah, some wine and cheeses or whatever. I don't know.
I like that plan.
Cad will follow suit the admonition of Brynir and doze off. He'll order a drink from the parlor and then just kind of cozy up by the fire and fall asleep.
I love Cad. I'm so glad we resurrected him. He's just so sassy and old, and I like it.
As they're still a little bit of ways off from this gate, Rolandir just says to Vamok, "I want to get a better look at what lies beyond that. Do you think you could, And he kind of just motions to Vakos, get a bird's eye perspective."
Vamok, even though he is technically blind, just gives Rolandir the most deadpan look straight in the eyes. And then he just doesn't even say a word, and he sends Vakos up into the air to go scout ahead.
As Vakos is still flying, before we get to what he sees, Rolandir just reminiscing with Vamok. Wonder what Bartholomew's up to, watching all our stuff out there. Kind of pales in comparison to what we have now. Speaking of which, how was it while you were watching our stuff, while we went into Beyond Fast? Any exciting travelers pass your way?
There was an old man, at least from what I could tell, but he gave me no trouble. He simply came and we had a few words, and then he left.
Interesting for an old man to be out in those harsh conditions by himself. Must have been a stout fellow.
I did not question it. It must have seemed just as strange to find a blind man in the forest.
Yes, that's true.
I am sure he had his reasons. But yes, everything was fine. Nothing worth reporting.
Speaking of your blindness, looks like Vakos is over the area now. What do you see?
Looking down, the gate seems more ornamental than practical, if anything. In other words, there are no hinges on it. It can't open. There do, however, seem to be smaller postern gates that are hidden from your side, but plain to see on the other side, that go to small paths where parties and such can move through. Near these areas, though there are not permanent guards, there are regular rotations of well-armed individuals. And though their armor is shining and boasts elaborate plumage, it is still very practical in the sense that their blades could cut you down and their armor could take a hit or two. Further off, as I said, these streets narrow and go into smaller avenues, and here it seems nature has reclaimed some bit of these hills and mountainsides as lush gardens separate the massive estates and houses. And though there are streets where buildings of 1 to 3 stories lie, they're few and far between. And so it's mostly these estates intercut by these smaller commercial neighborhoods, and then more estates. Especially as it works its way up, those commercial neighborhoods disappear, and you're left with only massive tracts of land, and finally the castle itself.
For the sake of brevity, Vamok relays all of that to Rolandir.
Nodding his head, Rolandir says, "Yes, I suspected as much. Then we best..."
Rolandir,
Yes?
a quick question, which will seem somewhat off topic, but it is important to me. You have lived in the Fell for quite some time. Who would you say are the friendliest or the most peaceful people?
Honestly, that's an easy answer. The Emer. I don't think I've met more pleasant, more peaceful, or, well, I will also admit that I probably have had the fewest interactions with the Emeric people, but every time there's something in them that lacks the malice, and they seem to have less evil in them.
Interesting. Thank you. That was all that I wanted.
We should probably get back. The dinner will be starting soon.
Yes.
As Vamok and Rolandir return, Brynir and Cad wake from their naps. Val finishes his lesson with Luna. And what was Mick doing?
Mick was going to stores around and was looking for something to buy to give to the host.
And Mick returns with a gift suitable for a lord, such as Lord Dakas. Which, what will that be, Chris? Or would you rather unveil it at the party?
Okay, I'll unveil it at the party. That's fine.
Then, with everyone in tow, would Mick lead this procession?
Probably. Oh, point of order. We bought changes of clothes, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think it would suit us to swap out into, like, dinner wear or not the clothing that we met this guy wearing.
And then Cad comes up to Mick and he's like, "Perhaps you could spend a bit more time on this disguise. I think we'll be under quite a bit of scrutiny tonight. Don't want to stand out for the wrong reasons."
Mick says, "I understand perfectly." And Mick gets out his makeup kit and starts to spruce them up and reapply the foundation to each of their skins.
Then you make your way across town to the estate of Lord Dakas. It is not past these gates that Vamok and Rolandir were looking at earlier, but it is still in a nice part of these upper neighborhoods, though you do find yourself walking down a tier or two from where you're staying on that opulent boulevard. You are greeted by a steward who takes your coats or hats, if you so deign, to allow him to do so.
Can Val have arranged his hair in such a way that his ears are covered by his hair?
Yes.
Then I'll get rid of my hat.
Cad refuses the offer to remove his hat.
He doesn't have a lot of
Rightly
hair.
so.
And then once inside, this steward says, "Now, if you'll follow me, the other guests are waiting at the table."
We will follow.
Upon entering this dining hall that you're brought to, through a few winding corridors in this nice manner, you are introduced, the Lord Eventide and guests. The others at the table rise, and you see that there are 7 spots, 6 on one side, 6 on the other, and then at the head, that have been prepared for you all, and there are servants standing behind each chair, awaiting for someone to sit. In the other 7 spots, you see 6 individuals, 3 on one side, 3 on the other side, and then at the head of that opposite end of the table is Lord Dakas. He beckons you politely to take your seats.
Val will give a very polite, thank you bow, and then go to the other head of the table.
As everyone then follows suit and sits, Lord Dakas remains standing and he says, "Good evening, everyone, and thank you for accepting my invitation to this fine dinner. The food will be out shortly. I believe introductions are in order first. Our fine friend here at the end of the table is our Lord Eventide, from a bit out of Mainstay, joining us tonight with his entourage." The others give you polite nods. "You all know myself. I am Lord Dakas. This," and he motions to his right, where a woman sits and she gives a polite smile, "is my wife, Perillo. Here," motioning to his left, "we are graced by a very special guest from the Arcanum. This is Arcanist Nador Lilith. Beside him is Lord Jared Colson of Mallet, and beside him the Sir Brigand Jack. Across from them, the Baronet Harlan Melm and Lady Viola Melm." He then gives another polite nod and takes his seat once more.
Upon seeing this or being introduced to everyone, not knowing if it's appropriate, but stands up anyways, and Mick presents and says, "Lord Dakas, thank you so much for your hospitality. As a token of our gratitude, we present to you this." And it's a ornamental porcelain vase that he takes out and says, "Thank you so much for having us tonight. Thank you. Thank you." And then gives the vase to the servant behind him.
The servant takes it, and Lord Dakas smiles. "Very nice. Thank you. It is appreciated."
Is he expecting me to introduce my entourage?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, I wouldn't think that would be appropriate anyways, so.
Just so we get this right here out of the way, how is everyone seated? Obviously, Val is at the head of the table.
I envision, like, if Lord Ducal or whatever his name is up top, you have, like, the two or three seats to his left, counterclockwise from him, and then Rolander's, like, right next to his entourage.
If Lord Dakas is the 12 o'clock.
Yep.
And then we're going down. Then it is the Arcanist, and then Lord Coulson,
Yep.
and then Sir Jack, and then 3 more people, and then Val.
I'll be the last one before Val.
So right next to Val?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Brynir and Luna, Val would seat them next to him.
And maybe Cad next to Luna.
Yeah, just for comfort.
So Cad, Luna, Brynir.
Mick will sit right next to Brynir on the other side.
So is Rolandir next to Mick, or is Vamok next to Mick?
Rolander's at, like, the 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock position.
Okay, then Vamok is next to Mick. The Baronet Melm, turning next to him at Rolandir, says, "My, oh my, you are quite well put together."
Yes, well, I'm a godborn, aren't I?
Please don't do this, Rolandir.
You want to freaking arm wrestle? Let's freaking go, you piece of crap. Let's do this.
Is that all I was going to say, or?
"My, oh my, you are quite well put together. It would seem that you are quite outfitted. Expecting trouble at this dinner?"
Well, not chuckling at this man's joke, Rolandir says, "Well, one can never be quite too certain when trouble will strike, and it is my duty, along with his," he says, pointing to Brynir, "to keep that one safe, our good lord."
Yes. Our esteemed host had informed us that you were... that your good lord, I should say, was not from here. I assume you too are a foreigner?
I am native to the Fell, but yes, a bit of ways off, more in the vicinity of Bastion.
And your family? They are lowborn?
Yes, they are. Of no great political import, but I was chosen at a young age to serve the defense of the city, and from that point I was selected to move through the ranks and eventually handpicked by family Eventide.
Well then, but a great privilege it is that you are seated at this table here tonight.
Yes, quite.
From across the long table, Lord Dakas calls down, "Lord Eventide, if you wouldn't mind, we would all wish to hear about your travels. Are the roads as beset with banditry as they so say?"
Well, I mean, you tell me the rumors and I'll tell you if they're true.
The person who was introduced as Sir Jack, who, like Brynir and Rolandir, seems a little out of place at the table, and is still wearing some armor atop his vestments, though still in finer clothes, looks down the table at Val and says, "Well, they say the roads down as far as Mallet are beset not lightly."
You what?
Very descriptive, sir. Thank you. Yeah, the roads are rough. It's not... Well, I mean, bandits are something that's easy to deal with when you've got fine company.
The Sir Jack laughs and kind of taps on his own breastplate, and he's like, "I'd mean say so myself. Looks like you've got a quite good band of then."
Yeah, we do. You faced a lot of bandits yourself then, have you?
In my younger days, I see. But not anymore.
Speaking up to Sir Jack. Well, it sounds like you've actually had your fair share of trouble here in the city. Coming through the gates, we were told of some excitement happening at the Arcanum. Perhaps, Arcanist Lilith could enlighten us.
I'm sorry, what? The Arcanist seems to have just entered the conversation. He was obviously not paying attention.
Is he, like, ancient?
No.
Oh. Okay.
Is he bored?
He's rather... No, he just looks kind of squirrely.
Oh. I was merely mentioning that on our way into the city, we heard that there was some event at the Arcanum. The guards mentioned that that's why they have increased their patrols, their inspections.
Oh, perhaps I wouldn't right know about it. The Arcanum, you say? Yes.
Are you not an Arcanist?
No, I am. Though I graduated some years ago. I don't keep ties much with those that would remain there. But I mean, yes, there was something of the sorts, of a disturbance of sorts. What one might call it, a disturbance of the peace of sorts. Now, I couldn't quite say what it was, but it did shut down the facilities for a time.
The entire college?
I presume so, yes. There was quite a hubbub.
Well, I'll say, an establishment such as the Arcanum must have been quite the, hubbub, as you say.
The person who is between Sir Jack and the Arcanist kind of looks between them with a conspiratorial gaze and then looks out toward Orlander. And this is Lord Coulson that speaks, and he says,
"I heard that there were something of the unscrupulous variety, kin or sanguine or such, if you believe stories."
Sanguine? Really? This far north in the fell?
Far north? What do you mean, boy?
I merely mean to say that I've only heard stories of them in scattered places throughout the south, but never in the north. But perhaps there are stories here too.
No, you're right. If they'd be anywhere, it'd be with the damn tales. So far as mainstay, I'd never heard. But these are troubling times.
Well, it sounds like you've got quite the mystery on your hands, then.
That's only if stories are to be believed.
and the Arcanist speaks up. He's like, I don't actually think that Sanguine would make their way inside the Arcanum or the university in any capacity. It's preposterous. Why? First of all, is a question that needs answering in this scenario, and I don't think there is a good answer for anything that I could come up with of why a Sanguine of any sort, or rather even a kin, would want to see himself or herself inside such an establishment.
What do you think happened then?
I think it is conjecture by bored nobility.
Oh, lots of stuff's conjecture by bored nobility, mate. That's pretty standard. What do you think happened at the university?
Sir Jack interjects, is like, I know what happened here. Look. Now, these university types, them Arcanists and such, no offense, lad. These university types, Arcanists and such, they're a little wrong in the head. They getting through all that magic and intent and stuff, essence, whatever you call it. Again, no offense, lad. And I think one or two of them just got a little stir crazy, locked up in there all the time. You got naught but magisters as your company. Believe you me, if I were locked up in some veil-damned place such as there, right here it's more a jail than anything. So, I think one of them just snapped. Or two, or three. No offense, lad. Dakas, not allowing a silence to pass over the table, raises his hands and says, I think it's time for dinner, please. And the servants lay out a fine meal before each of you. Lord Eventide, if you would be so kind, I saw your minstrel perform in the square. Would it be such an imposition to ask for a performance tonight?
No, I suspect not. I'll look to Mick and give like a, do you want to do that kind of face?
Well, I couldn't, but yes, I would love to. And Mick gets up and I'm assuming kind of goes behind all of them, or is there kind of a place where I can display myself?
There's nowhere in this dining hall for Mick to be, and Lord Dakas stands as you do. Is like, no, not now. Later, please. Let us not lose all sense of propriety.
Of course. I thought you were joking. And then Mick sits down.
One of the ladies, Lady Melm, from across the table, looks at Mick and she goes, I would be most interested in seeing what you had to offer. I heard tell of your small tale of our Lord Eventide. What else would you, or might I ask, if it is not a surprise, what you will grace us with this evening?
Well, there's many things to choose from, of course. I have tales, tall tales, of great warriors and fighters and valiant servants. But tonight I think I will favor you with one of my favorites, a ballad to a fallen friend of mine.
Very interesting. Do you know the bridge over Barrow Down?
You know what? Does it go? Dun, 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 dun. I think I'm a little familiar with it, but how would you seen it? How does it go?
Oh, I wouldn't dare.
Oh, but please indulge us.
Oh, no, it would be most uncouth.
Suit yourself. Perhaps later when we're outside for afternoon talk. After dinner talk.
The Baronet is looking at Mick. Probably Val would notice that the Baronet is looking at Mick with no small air of, not rudeness per se, but dissatisfaction. Please, everyone, the Lord Dakas speaks. Attend to your meals and speak as you will, and we will then rush ourselves to the parlor where we can enjoy this performance post-haste. I dare say we might even be able to enjoy dessert there.
I don't have reason to suspect that this man would poison all of these guests, but like...
Just us. We made sure to tell the servants only poison those guys' food.
Cad, looking around, quite uncomfortable, will begin to eat.
Oh, I thought we were waiting for the head dude to eat. Brynir will start eating too.
Oh, no, all of the others have begun.
Okay. Then Brynir's gonna eat. He was like, whatever.
We will do the same. I will monitor Brynir eating and make sure that he's being polite.
He's polite enough.
I assumed as much. You didn't. Brynir slept through politeness lessons, so.
Brynir was a guard captain before he became a drunk. You know, he's got a little bit of class.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, probably most of us don't know.
No.
Yeah, like propriety and dinner rules or whatever.
Val, Luna, and Cad seem about themselves when it comes to eating, as do the other guests of Lord Dakas, save for Sir Jack, who has no sense of any noble bearing, it would seem, and digs in. Now, Sir Jack looks at Vamok, who's sitting next to him. Where is Vakos at this time?
Vamok isn't actually, eating much of anything, but he will take a little piece of food off of his plate and give it to Vakos, who is on his lap.
Sir Jack stares at Vamok, and he says, That's a right fine bird you got there.
Yes, indeed it is.
Oh, where'd you come from it? And on the second account, where the hell are you?
I come from all over. I have no place that I rightly call home. Currently, I reside in the house of Master Eventide.
Oh, good God, so he's going to say not even the house of your laird, he's going to say pretty power laird if that's.
As for the bird, I acquired it from an American trader. Where the trader got it, I do not know.
I once fancied myself an aviary, long ago, before I was a knight, or anything of the sorts. Thought, I'd have a bird one day. Don't know what kind or what's nuts. But that one there, that's something fierce. And ugly. But nice. Nice and ugly.
Indeed. Its looks have never bothered me before. And I presume they won't bother me in the future.
And Vermak, puts his hand in front of his face and, waves it in front of his eyes.
As the dinner carries on in an uncomfortable manner, Lord Dakas, at the conclusion of the meal, ushers everyone up and into a sitting room adjacent the dining room. Now, dessert will be along shortly, I assure you, but I thought it would be good if then we could indulge ourselves in a wee bit of entertainment. Your minstrel, Lord Eventide.
Entertainment we can provide.
Okay, Mick sees that as a cue, and Mick goes up. Is there, are they seated in a circle or something like that, or half circle or whatever?
Yeah, like a semicircle around an unlit fireplace.
Okay, cool. So Mick is going to go right in front of the fireplace and is going to get his lute out from his back and is going to say, "This is, as I said, dedicated to a dear friend of mine who is no longer with us. Thank you." They say curiosity killed the cat. Well, for Luca, that's a matter of fact. He came to us a stranger to all, but we could got him enjoying the brawl. Luca, Luca, Luca Cole. Luca, cheers to you, you helped us in a pickle. Even when I thought I knew you, always seemed a bit fickle. There were times I feared we wouldn't survive, but having you beside me, I knew we would thrive. Luca, Luca, Luca Cole. Brash, some may have called him, but let us not forget, he sacrificed himself, no doubt without regret. I doctor your word, despite how you healed, the one who couldn't fully be mended until with their death you sealed. Luca, Luca, Luca Cole. Luca, we thank thee. Luca Cole. Cheers to you, my dear friend. I look forward to our reunion. And Mick all of a sudden has a drink and drinks. And that is that.
Everyone gives a polite clap, or at least all of the Lord's guests.
Rolander's a little raucous in his applause.
Oh, yeah! I knew that guy!
Love that dude.
What's up?
Luca, sorry you ended up in a flesh column. Woo!
Sorry we killed you again.
Yeah!
The Lady Dakas looks at Mick and says, "That was quite a beautiful little ballad. Is this Luca fellow some war hero? Did you serve?"
I did not serve, but he was a good friend of mine. Yes, I guess you could say he was a warrior. I wouldn't call him a soldier, per se, but he was a good friend.
How did he die? And before you can answer, the Lord Coulson speaks up.
That was those bastard kin, wasn't it? Damn near good, everyone.
Oh, please, I can't say. It's a little too fresh of a wound. Please, if you forgive me. And Mick sits down, completely avoiding that question.
Now, you all are my guests tonight. Lord Dakas stands, taking Mick's place. And, as I promised, dessert will be out shortly. However, I did invite you here for another reason. Though your company is much appreciated, my lords and ladies. You see, interesting that one of you should bring up this occurrence at the university. For that is the question that I wish answered. And I thought all of you here could serve in some special purpose in providing those answers. The Arcanist, for obvious reasons, and you other lords and ladies, my good baronet, for your resourcefulness, and you, Master Eventide, and your entourage, for your relative newness to the city, and, I dare say, resourcefulness as well. And perhaps you and I can speak to this later. We might arrange some exchange of services. You see, I had a niece who was at the university in the time of this, as it's been said, hubbub. She went missing. I've not heard from her since. And no one there, least of all the magisters, are willing to entertain me to any degree. The friends that I thought I had proved fruitless when called upon. as their loyalties were not to blood, but to coin. I hope that I can speak differently of you all. And if that is not the case, then I pray excuse yourselves. And at this, actually, the Baronet Melm and the Lady Melm stand, and they don't say a word. The Baronet kind of glares at Lord Dakas, and he says, "We'll remember this, Lord Dakas." And then the two of them leave. "If you will once again," Lord Dakas says, looking at Val, "excuse my boldness. You are new here. You are without title or station. Believe you me, my list is very comprehensive. You seek something from someone. I do not rightly care what. Your business is your own. I am simply offering you a means to that business, and conducting it as you see fit. If a title or station is something that you require in that time, then I am your best hope for securing something of that sort. I, however, require these answers. If you and your company here would be willing to assist me in mine, I will pay you back in turn and more."
And what is it exactly you want us to do?
As I said, my niece recently went missing during this disturbance at the university. And, yes, he kind of notices the Arcanist, who had actually had his hand up for quite some time. He says, I am not particularly in a position to where I can comment on such things, and I may as well excuse myself. I do not feel comfortable. And the Lord Dakas just waves his hand, and the Arcanist also takes his leave, leaving just Lady Dakas, the Lord Coulson, and Sir Jack, along with you lot. I would, Master Eventide, ask that you put your resources, of which I, in our little acquaintance so far, surmised you have many, and I speak not only monetarily, as that was quite a heavy chest your friend there was carrying, but the fact that you would stroll right up to the gates of the highest part of this fine city and announce yourself as anything less than Royal Highness. Though, I dare say I can surmise that was probably a miscommunication. Regardless, it takes what many people here lack. It takes a good set of balls, my man. And you've got them. And I will not excuse myself for saying such. Propriety be damned. I need answers, and you lot, he motions to both your company and the two other guests, are the types to get it. Lord Coulson actually stands at this point and says,
"Son, I understand where you're coming from. And I know you're unease given these things. But I hate to say this is outside my wheelhouse. I can give you some advice. I'll write a letter or two. But as for these clandestine goings-ons, I'll have to take my leave as well."
And the Lord Coulson departs with a polite bow. Lord Dakas looks from Val then to Sir Jack and says, "Sir Jack, I hope that you would not have any trouble investigating these, as you put it, university types." And Sir Jack just gives a shake of his head. He's like, "Nope, not in the slightest. Don't trust him as far as I can throw him. And I can throw a man a good white way."
I suspect you can. And you have a means of getting us into the university to investigate?
If it would please your ward, I can draft a letter for you and yourself, speaking of her abilities. As looking upon you all, she is the youngest, and anyone quite a bit older might come under some suspicion, seeing as they would have been required to turn themselves over some time ago.
You want to make them think that she can use intent?
Precisely. And that she is some relation of mine and yours.
I look at Luna and see how she feels about this.
Luna's kind of blank-faced, not really looking at anyone.
Okay, I'll look at Cad.
Cad meets your eyes and he's just like subtly shaking his head like,
Nope, bad idea.
If my understanding is correct, getting involved with the Magisters and with this intent business is a bit like kicking the hornet's nest. Not particularly keen to risk that.
True, but if one has nothing to hide, one has nothing to fear. They would simply admit her, then yourself and present company would be allowed a tour, so to speak, of the facilities.
And what happens when they find out she can't use intent?
I figure they'll send her right back out. But in that time, we'll have gathered what we needed regarding my niece. And you, Master Eventide, will have been made a lord.
Do we have any time to think about this?
I expect an answer on the morrow.
Is time enough?
You may, if you wish, lodge here. Rooms have been prepared for you all, or return to your current estates and holdings. If you do not mind, my wife and I will excuse ourselves and bid you good night. And he gives a deep bow and exits. Sir Jack stands, goes over to the hearth, kind of pokes at a few of the baubles on top of it, and then looks at Rolandir and Brynir and says, you two look like you can fight a fair fight, and an unfair one, if I'll be honest at that. You ever fought magisters before?
Rolandir looks up at him, gives him a wry smile. Fought and lived, yes. Haven't killed one yet, though.
Well, that there's a good feat. He kind of takes his collar and pulls it down as far as it can, shifting his breastplate, and he shows you what looks like the starting of a really big burn scar going across his shoulder and down his chest. Because this here I got not too many years ago, right from some magister bastard. Killed him too, though. So, if you ever need a few pointers.
Might need them.
Now, I don't know how you all stand on this, but, look, the Lord Dakas, he's a good fella. A little to the point, doesn't mind these propriety types. I don't know if you can say neither do I. But I'll take my leave now. Don't want to interrupt your little meeting here. You're all familiar and I'm a stranger. But if I could just say one thing, real quick. The Lord's niece, she was a fine lass. She was kind and sweet. And if she went to that university, that damn blasted building, and they did something awful to her, well, they deserve all that Vale could give them. That's all I have to say on the matter. Good night, y'all. And he leaves.
I don't know if we should talk here, if we should head back.
He did say that he has rooms prepared here, whereas we do only have the one.
Well, yeah. Agreed. I mean, we're sleeping here for sure, but as far as conversations go...
We could take this outside. I'm sure an estate like this has a garden. And Cat opens a door. Yes, they do.
So much attitude.
Don the Frond left this garden behind this door.
Okay, we'll go out in the garden.
Yeah, there's a small porch area, some other chairs and tables laid out, and then a small hedge garden. I guess, look, here's my evaluation of the whole thing. 1, it'd be putting Luna in harm's way, something I wish to personally avoid. And Luna starts to speak, but he raises his hand, and I know what you're going to say. I know. Here's the thing. Sure, maybe this lord, whatever, deserves help, but do we need it? Do we need what he's going to give us? Does it really matter that Val is a lord here?
Well, we did want influence and allies on our side, did we not?
And also, the prime reason why we wanted to go to the king was so that we could get a tour of the university. This would already give us the in. We can complete what we set out to do, as well as help Lord Dakas.
That is the only reason I would even consider the offer, is that it gets us to the university very quickly, but I don't think it is worth the risk putting Luna in that situation.
I can speak for myself. I can do it. I can. And honestly, if anything goes wrong, we can use a little intent to get out, and I don't think anyone would notice.
I agree with the girl. We came here looking for a way into the university, and now an opportunity has presented itself. You speak of keeping Luna out of danger, as if she were some child. As I have been told, and as I have seen, she is quite capable. And honestly, this path that we are on is putting all of us in the path of danger. If she is comfortable enough to volunteer herself, I vote that we go ahead with the plan. But I am just one voice of many. I will yield to whatever the majority thinks is best.
Then allow me one question. Say we go through with this. We get into the university. That gives us the opportunity to get into the university, to find weapons, and then to use their facilities to take us to the last aspect. We have to do this all in the span of one day?
It would be quite easy to infiltrate and then use intent to alter our appearances. We could blend in.
My only question in response to your question, Kat, is what's our alternative? The college has recently undergone a large event. I suspect, by the way that everyone reacts to such rumors, that it must have been an attack. I doubt that we're just going to be able to get let through on a tour unless we have something of value to add, such as another member of the university.
What if they find out what I am?
Then you run, and do not stop for any of us.
Yes. In a way, they already know. The Magisters, they have been looking for all of us for a couple days now. We can manipulate some things and try to hide under the larger guise of intent users at the university, but ultimately, they already know who we are and what we're after. In a way, we might as well use this opportunity while we can. My vote is that we go through with the plan and help Lord Dakas.
All right, that's one. Brynjar?
If she wishes to participate, I too would like to help Lord Dakas.
All right, 2. Luna?
I said what I said.
All right, 3. Mick?
I'm on board with and in agreement with Brynjar, Belandir, and Luna.
Vamak?
As I have said, I believe we should go ahead with this course of action.
Val, voice of reason, anytime now.
Oh no. I think this is a spectacularly risky plan that probably won't have a lot of payoff exactly equal to the risks that we are facing, but if we don't have another plan, and this is what Luna wants to do, then at the very least we can consider it until morning, and if we can't come up with anything better, go through with it.
All right, then. 5-4, 1 maybe, 1 against. Then, fine. I guess we'll do it. I will say, I expected us to have more time here in Mainstay. And I expected to have at least one more Godborn with us before we came to the university.
Perhaps that is still in our abilities to achieve?
Vamak, who has been thinking, actually says,
There may be a solution. What if we send in Luna, but we do not send Luna? Mick, you can take on anybody's appearance. What if you were to go in Luna's stead?
I love this plan.
I mean, it's risky regardless, so what choice do I have? I'll do it.
I'm not going to stay behind if that's what you mean.
You would not have to, but there would be no risk of them examining you and discovering your nature.
So you're saying Mick could just take the form of someone young? You don't even have to look like Luna, you could just look like a younger you.
Theoretically speaking, yeah.
Actually, that might be a smarter plan, since if the Magisters do come and they see someone who looks like you, they'll immediately identify you as Luna, or me as Luna.
If the plan is to infiltrate the university by getting us in and then staying in as students, I think you would be very valuable, Luna.
All right. Then, when do we start?